Good evening, folks. Going to call the meeting to order here at 1 Academy Street on Tuesday, May 3rd at 7:02. First item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and join us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda review. We need to add, under highway, I want to add C paving. And executive session, we need to add personnel. That's all I got. You anything, Mark?
No additions. Nicole?
No additions.
Earl?
Nope, I'm all set.
Kathy?
We're gonna add the quarterly, budget review,
Okay,
wherever you would like to.
don't matter to me. Where do you want to do it?
New town, maybe?
Yeah, new business. Yep. Sounds good to me. C. That it, Kathy?
That's it,
Yep.
thank you.
Joseph and then?
I'm still waiting on the village's portion for the informational meeting, so you guys can make a tentative motion to approve the minutes for
Oh,
the
okay.
village's portion.
Alright. Okay. Have you contacted somebody about getting the?
I reached out to Diane, but I forgot she was on vacation.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Brian, any changes to the agenda?
Okay, under, the, B, under, Old Town Business, MVU Route 78 sidewalk update, that needs to be tabled until May 17th. The
Okay.
engineers are not able to make it. Also, under New Town Business, we have, C, to discuss and hopefully approve the, police department contract. And then, D would be, the, 4th Street property, environmental assessment contract for that.
Okay, so where'd you put that under?
That would be under Newtown Business.
Newtown Business?
C and D.
Okay. D and E already got quarterly for C, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's
D
it.
and E.
Oh, yeah, quarter.
Yeah. Anything else, Brian?
No, that's
Okay. Ed, anything on
Yeah,
that?
under new town business,
Okay.
I'd like to put on the agenda for May 17th, the meeting, Brian. People reached out to me to, they'd like to have some of the town roads for ATVs. All right, be under E.
Okay.
That's for the 17th.
Yep. So if we put it on our agenda for the
Yeah.
17th for water and get it going.
We probably should do a little homework on that before we get to the 17th too, just
Yeah.
to see what the rules and regulations are, what other towns do.
I have lots of information I can
And
share as
probably get
well.
some input from our police chief.
Yeah, exactly. I saw in the book. Okay, we said that. We will talk about that when we get there. Okay. Minutes. Can I hear a motion to approve the April 19th regular Zoom select board meeting minutes? And
I'll move.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
all right. Any other discussion on them? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. And we're gonna approve the town's portion of the April 21st joint informational meeting minutes. Get a motion on that.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second that.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Public comment. Anybody got anything on public comment that's not on the agenda? Guess we're good. Law enforcement. Chief, how we doing?
Well, how are you?
Come over here and sit there if you want. We're good.
Pass these around.
So, then two.
Thank you again for joining us on Big Rig Day. I thought it was a great event. We had 995 kids or people pass through,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it was great. I thought it was a great community event, and the kids seemed to absolutely love it.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, so so looking at this, you'll see the incident analysis pie chart on the first page here. There are approximately 90 incidents, it might have been a little shy of 90 incidents in the town. Again, the system, the way it pulls data out, it's dependent on the officers flagging the area appropriately. So you might find a little bit of discrepancy as far as areas with some of this stuff. But you'll see that there's 43 traffic stops, so that's a substantial increase. And again, that goes back to what I was talking about as far as the force multiplier goes, and having these guys out on specific traffic details, which is in large part due to the initial people that we've onboarded as part-timers. And then you'll see and again, these are the top 10 incident types, so 4 thefts, 4 citizen assists, 4 suspicious persons, 4 juvenile problems, 3 welfare checks, 3 alarms, and then it gets down into the 2s, agency assists, motor vehicle complaints, and 911 calls. So that is the breakdown of that. And then page 2 and 3 gives the specific incidents and dates for you, so you can see in the locations. And then pages 4 through 6 are essentially just a different look at similar material. Page 7 is the arrest analysis. There were 3 arrests, a criminal threatening, weapons possession, a dangerous weapon, and driving with a criminally suspended license. And then page 9 begins the ticket summary. And so page 9 is kind of a boiled down summary of the tickets. I want to say there were 11 total, but one of them was the consumed malt beverages for a minor. So it wasn't traffic related, and the rest, the 10 others were traffic related actual tickets, and then there was a substantial number of warnings also issued. And then I would just like to add that it was great of Select Board Member Draper to invite the PD up to that big rig event, and although I had a short turnaround because I covered a shift Friday night and got up early Saturday morning to get up there with a cruiser.
Yeah.
It was a great event. The kids really had a blast, and it seems like the families really had a lot of fun. So.
That's good. Sure, thank you for doing that.
And we look forward to having more events.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
So it was a really good time.
Yeah, certainly I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with that citizen, in the video that we spoke about, on South River Thursday, Friday. I couldn't remember see, I think she called
Yes.
us, so I think just taking the time to explain some things to her was certainly appreciated, definitely.
Yeah, so we did go out and actually address it in a proactive manner, so we'll see. I'd like to hear feedback to see if any of the behavior changes.
Yep, I'll let you know.
And if not, then we'll have to take some more.
It's been going for a couple of years, so that's why I
Yeah.
just had to up the ante, so to speak.
And my understanding from talking to the guys too is they were aware, and some of them previously had addressed it, and it seems like they'll address it, and there'll be a little lull in activity,
Then
then it'll come back, so.
Okay, no, I certainly appreciate it.
Okay, good. Do we wanna take care of the contract right now, while we're
As long as we're here, that's up to you
Yeah.
guys.
Okay.
I will hand it out, you've received it by email, and, pretty much it's the same language as
Yeah.
was in, last year, except for the dollar amount.
Yep.
And,
So I'm pleased, Matt, to see all the increase in these, in the traffic stops. One there really caught my attention there, 100 miles an hour on First Street.
Yeah, and I don't know the details of that, I would have to
Was that a
look
pursuit?
into it. I don't believe we have not had a pursuit that I'm aware of, but it could have been also off the highway, so sometimes the exact location may not indicate where the offense occurred. So my guess is if it was a true 100 miles per hour clock, it was probably on the highway, just above First Street.
One other thing, if you would, if I may, the fact that, we've got people that are interested in seeing the town pass some, some of the town, roads for ATVs. Have you got a feeling on that, Matt?
Well,
I know you didn't have to deal with that in Burlington.
no, not so much. Every once in a long while, you would have somebody generally riding the bike path on an ATV down there,
Yeah.
but,
I'd just like to get your input on it.
so I guess the issue here is, one of the things that I've heard certainly is that people are upset with some of the ATV traffic on public highways and or the rail trail. And so the issue is that it's very difficult to take enforcement actions against ATVs unless they're compliant, right? Because we're always balancing public safety, so you have to weigh the fact, like you mentioned, a pursuit. Pursuits are very dangerous, and so a lot of times the way the state is going, and the state is gonna put out a statewide pursuit policy, is what I anticipate very shortly, that all agencies will have to adopt, is that they're really only in extremely limited circumstances will you pursue a vehicle. Because it's just so hazardous for not only the operator who may be fleeing from law enforcement, but also for other people in the area where that pursuit may be going through. So with ATVs also, it's difficult to enforce. I mean, that was one of the things in Burlington too, was they wanted bicycle enforcement. Well, how do you enforce against a bicycle unless the operator is compliant and they stop? It's very difficult to stop a bicycle because of their mobility. Similarly, it may be the same case with ATVs. You know, I've heard of instances where they've engaged in activity where, for example, if there's an issue on the rail trail, maybe they'll form some sort of almost roadblock type of situation, and those are you have to be very careful with those situations too, because again, if somebody is traveling at a high rate of speed and all of a sudden they come into a roadblock situation and they crash, you know, is a minor violation really worth somebody getting very injured? I would say no. And so law enforcement is constantly trying to balance those concerns. So I don't know. I mean, certainly up where I live, there's a lot of ATV traffic all the time on the roadways. It is allowed to a certain degree. So I guess it depends on where the community lands on it. And certainly we would work with the community as best we could to either take enforcement action in a certain limited manner, whatever that might be, if the community was gonna embrace ATV traffic on the roadways. But we did, I think I mentioned at the last meeting, we had one incident where there were a couple ATVs going through the village, making laps through the village and not operating in a safe manner. And we were able to figure out at least who one of the operators was and then held them accountable through issuing several tickets.
Great, thank you.
Do you get a lot of calls on that, Dale?
Not yet. I haven't heard them yet. I mean, that was the one instance where I was at work and I observed it firsthand. So I haven't seen it yet, but I anticipate that we will get some calls on that. And certainly it was brought to my attention from the guys that it is something that they've had to address previously.
Thanks, Matt.
Alright, everyone good with the contract?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll entertain a motion to approve the contract then.
I'll move.
I'll second it.
Alright, and that's the contract period April 1st through March 31st, 2023. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mark, the authorized,
You can mark your authorizations and sign it, sounds good to me.
and then I'll take it up to give it to Reggie tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
Alright?
Alright, thank you, Matt.
Alright.
Have a good night.
Ryan, I'll need a signed copy after.
Health officer, do you have a health officer report?
Yes, I'm gonna hand that out, I just got it
Separate.
literally minutes ago. She had, 3 instances, one of which I reported, and, you can pass that down, Sandy, and then for you. So they're pretty self-explanatory, 24 New Street, and I know that Amy, zoning administrator, had sent a notice of violation of that. Anyhow, the property's been cleaned up. So, and the one on April 5th, 2022, that was involving lead paint. It can become a very complicated issue, as you know. And then on April 11th, I sent her an email about the person who resides at 134B Grand Avenue, one of their neighbors reported that they are putting junk and trash on the property adjoining them, which is not owned by them. It is owned by Earl Taylor. So she went to check it out. What I was going to do last week, I was like, well, wait a minute. They're dumping illegally onto somebody else's property. So I'm gonna get hold of Earl, or who takes care of it there, and see and make a complaint to the police. That's a police matter.
Yeah.
So now that I'm back in the swing of things, I hope to get that done in the next day or two. So that's what she has to report.
Keep them busy.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else under health officer?
Nope.
Okay. Old Town business. Items table from April 19th meeting. Arts Council gathering of the realms, how you pronounce it?
Yep.
Yep. Is that someone here?
We do have somebody here
Okay.
tonight.
Alright.
And so this is lady is I don't know, are you the chair of the Gathering of the Realms, or are you?
I am the project lead, yes.
Okay, the project lead. So she would like to take a few minutes and explain what it is and what they're looking to do.
Okay.
And so without any further ado, the floor is yours.
Good evening, and thank you for having me tonight. My name is Janet Dimixilavi. I am a Swanton Arts Council board member, as well as project lead for Gathering of the Realms. This is an item that has been in discussion throughout the community for a few years. And I've finally taken up the torch to get it accomplished this year. I started with talking with Nicole Draper as her Swanton Recreation hat, so that we know that we have the use of the fields. I've spoken with the village. Those have been on Facebook, so you've been able to watch the recordings and such. So I have organized with them to have a alcohol permit, overnight camping. So this would be vendors and performers coming in Friday night. The event itself would be Saturday, 9 to 6, I apologize. My brain is a little frazzled between two jobs at the moment. I did include a time frame for you. So yes, we have performances from 9 to 4 with an hour break, and then a community meal Saturday. We would like to continue forward like this one Spectacular had, having a community meal at the end of summer, just to enjoy community, friendship, getting to know each other as well after coming out of COVID. I have not had a chance to speak to the police chief, the fire chief, or Missisquoi Valley Rescue yet. I was waiting to hear from both the village and from yourselves to make sure that I understood everything that I need required of me before going forward and understanding everything I need required from them. But we'd like to have a bonfire on Saturday night. And then again, on Sunday, opens at 9, closes at 5, with the expectation that performers and vendors would be gone by Sunday night. Portalets would be dropped off Thursday or Friday, the day before, picked up Monday or Tuesday, the day after at most. There will be, I'm looking to make an arrangement with one of the local garbage companies so that that will be taken care of, so that it is like a national park. We go in, we come out, you never know we were there, except the grass needs time to recuperate itself. We are looking at having SCA members, and I cannot for the life of me remember what SCA means to someone, I apologize. But the Renaissance era for garb, for speak, for crafts, for cooking, mock battles. So there's going to be some culture to it, some history to it, as well as we do have a turkey leg provider already. You can't have a Ren Fair without your own turkey legs. There will be craft vendors. We're hoping to get some food vendors as well, like bakery, pastry, items such as that. And you can come as you are, or you can come in your favorite Renaissance regal gear. You can be a stormtrooper from Star Wars. You can be anybody you want to be. You could be an orc, an elf, a fairy. We hope to continue to partner with Nicole and with, wow, there went my brain, Abby at the library, so that there will be events leading up to it. So we'll have some classes on how to create your character, how to do garb. There is a class coming up on weapons making for LARPing. I'd like to expand on that as well. So it's just lots of fun stuff to do. I come here to you tonight knowing that the property is very interesting. I'm not quite sure where the lines are drawn between Swanton Town and the village. I've had a very nice long discussion with Brian. He's very knowledgeable from his past history with the Swanton Festival. So I've been able to get a good understanding of what I need to do. I do need to re-tag with him once we meet tonight so that I know that what my ducks are specifically, and moving forward from there.
Insurance, does your event have some insurance?
Swanton Arts Council does have insurance to cover our events.
Okay.
This is a new type of event. This was brought up last night at our monthly meeting. Again, I need to tag back with Brian to have a better understanding about this, whether Swanton Arts Council needs to do a rider for the 3 days our way, or because we're a nonprofit, we're not quite sure what a rider for nonprofit insurance means. So we may need to speak with Brian and Reggie and see if the town and village would do the rider, and then that we would pay you for the rider for those 3 days. Insurance is a completely new arena for me. So again, that's why I need to tag back more with Brian.
It's not our event as far as the town and
The
village.
league, Vermont League of Cities and Towns, when I spoke to, I spoke to,
Right.
she said there is if you call them, there is a rider that you can get through them, I believe.
And I'm sorry,
The Vermont League of Cities and Towns, but if
I
you
can-
call me, I can, or call
Right.
Brian, he can give
We'll
you
get
the
you the
contact,
information.
because they will write an event for enough.
Yeah, it's an event policy.
It's an event
It
policy.
would cover the town and village as their interest may appear.
For those 3 days.
Right.
Yeah.
As always Swanton Arts Council, I mean, that's basically what the festival.
Well, they said they could get, the arts, whoever's doing it could get a binder through them to
Yeah.
cover.
awesome.
Yeah.
Because when I met with Brian, he had mentioned that to amend our insurance for the 3 days so that the village and the town
Mhm.
were part of the indemnity, is that the right word?
Right, yeah, they'd be.
So that's where the discussion came up, and that's where more research on my end. So thank you very much for that.
The Vermont League of Cities and Town will deal directly with the arts.
I'm not sure.
I
If
think
they will.
they can deal with them directly. I have that, all those notes written down.
Okay,
I'll-
all right, we'll
I'll give it to
get
you.
together and we'll let you know. And
Awesome.
I just have 2 more questions. So, somewhere along the way, someone said there's alcohol at the event.
We have the permit to get alcohol.
Okay.
We would like to invite Rowanfell Meadery or a couple wineries, maybe 14th Star, because that is part of what a Ren Fair normally includes.
Yep.
What we would end up doing is that would be completely sectioned off
Yeah.
as a double section. So if you're, I'm hoping to use just simple orange snow fence, but it would be fence, like 3 feet fence. The providers have to have their own insurance and all their certificates and such
Yeah.
Um,
license and stuff.
with-
The catering license.
with the state, as well as that would have to be part of the paperwork that went to Brian and to Reggie.
And they'll have to get their
Yeah.
catering event license too through us,
Review.
approval through.
Does the board have to approve that, or just they just come in and get it?
No, it has to be, well, I can approve it, usually it's just a wedding somewhere, but
Yeah.
something like this, if you wanna approve it
Oh,
yourself.
yeah, but we're not required to.
No,
Okay.
Now, does that go for only the alcohol, or if,
it's gonna be anyone who's going to be serving alcohol through, as a vendor, they have to get through the Vermont Department of Liquor Control, they have to get a catering license for the day, for the days that they're doing it.
Okay, so they do a lot of, well, Groenfeld does a lot of events, so they probably.
Right, they
have that.
probably know what they have to do, same with 14th Star, they've done events before, they know what they
And then
have to do.
they have to come in here and see you, right? With-
They have to fill out the application and they bring it,
Pardon me.
bring it to us to be approved, then we fax it to the Vermont Department of Liquor Control, and then they will fax an approval to the vendor.
Okay.
And security, I heard you say about contacting the police department.
There's a lot of moving pieces, more than I expected when I first took this on, and it's gonna be a fun event, but there is a lot of things that I need to, again, get my ducks in a row, so hearing what your concerns are here, hearing what the village had for concerns, again, tagging base with Brian and Reggie, speaking with the police to see what he has in mind. I'm going to send him an introductory letter like I did to you.
Yeah.
Including all the items, that he has a chance to review it, then I'm gonna meet with him and go from there.
Yeah.
But for parking is one of the larger concerns for me, because we're expecting like 2,000 people. Yeah, it's gonna be like the Swanton Spectacular, or it's gonna be like the car show, it's gonna be a lot of people. So I am expecting that I will need to do some moving parts with parking at the school, maybe using the 4th Street extension. So that's gonna mean people crossing the roads in a few different areas, so I really need to tag up with him. That's my next priority, but I wanna make sure that everything was set first with you folks and with the village before going forward, cause it's like, I need to make sure the cart stays behind the horse, because I don't wanna get it anything out of control. We're hoping for a very fun event that may be repeatable, or maybe this is the one time and, oh, we learned a lot from it, but no, maybe somewhere else next year type thing.
Now, do you think there's enough space for that many people, to accommodate that many people over there?
I haven't had a chance to walk the area yet. I'm using Nicole's experience of the area. So what we would like to do is we wanna rope off.
So are you using the ball fields up on top too, or just down back?
I mean, during the course of the events, there is nothing currently scheduled
Yeah.
for the property. Baseball will be finished, soccer will not be happening that particular weekend. We had originally talked about using the lower field, depending on the usage would be whether or not you use the upper ball fields or not.
Yes, so again, getting all my ducks in a row, I haven't gone back to Nicole yet, not knowing, but the current plan is the grass area to rope all the way around, so it also ropes off the rail trail.
Yep.
For a flow of people, just for safety's sake.
Mhm.
Have the encampment members at that end of the field, have vendors on either side. Depending on the room that we need, we may end up using the ball fields. Again, because of the fencing and stuff, that gives us a way to control everyone, but that, for the sword fighting and mock battles. The trebuchet, if we can pull that off, would be going, I need to speak to the quarry, going into the quarry to keep everything as safe as possible. And then, location of the bonfire, again, we'll be talking with the chief.
So you're gonna be using the entire ball field, that wouldn't be used for parking then, none of it? The ball field part.
The parking lot down below is a huge parking lot. So you're gonna be using the parking lot as part of the event. We said not for parking. Right.
Right now, I'm only thinking of using the grass area for the event.
Yeah, but I'm talking about parking.
So if she was only using the field itself,
Yeah.
the parking lot would be able to accommodate parking.
There's a lot of
But
cars
you
in it,
wouldn't, you wouldn't want parking on the field, would you?
No,
Oh,
there would be
no,
no
no.
parking on the
Okay,
field, there'd be
that's
parking
what I
in the
wanted
parking
to-
lot. Oh,
We're gonna have to
absolutely.
call back our insurance agent, cause they had an issue with the fields being used. So we're gonna have to I'll call them again.
And you're talking 2,000 people, so there must be people from all over the area that come to these kind of events because.
This is a huge niche that is not serviced in upstate New York, upstate Vermont, or Canada. There's 4 huge rain fairs going on that people travel to that pay $3,000-4,000 for the week to stay. So we're, again, I spoke with Brian extensively on this, trying to ballpark it. But between the 2 days, 2,000 is probably a good number, because you're gonna be pulling from, most of Vermont, maybe some of New Hampshire, some of New York, and some of Canada for, attendees and possibly for some of the entertainers.
Have you advertised yet?
We've been doing it lightly, word of mouth. We know that there's a strong following. They're ready to start signing vendor contracts with us. Again, I'm just holding off with anything major because, again, A, B, C, I don't want to jump to Z and then come back and realize that, oh, G can't happen, so well, the rest of it can't happen.
Where's the closest place to hear that one of these things ever happened?
June, second week of June, it happens in Stowe. And then,
Every year?
I think down by Albany, yes, every year. Theirs is more vendor than events, and then they also do a lot of the horses stuff, and we're not bringing horses in unless I can find maybe a pony to pet that's a pretend unicorn or something. But, yeah, there's no jousting, none of that type night stuff. We hope to have some acrobats or jugglers or maybe someone that works with fire for entertainment, some dancers. But it's just a lot of fun and some history and dabbled in here and there.
Well, sounds kinda interesting. I probably will go just to check it out.
Well, one of the fun things is we have both days we want to do the King's Court Walk and then the Queen's Court Walk. So you gentlemen are kings and you ladies are queens, so you will be involved as well.
I think it sounds like a great event to bring people in the community again, definitely. It just seems like there's a lot here and that's up for you guys to decide. I would just be cautious of just creating some kind of buffer zone around the complex of housing that's there on Lake Street, I guess it is. Just having some kind of buffer zone for the noise and that from them residents.
Blake Commons.
Yeah,
There's Jewett Street and
correct.
what?
Blake.
Blake.
Yeah.
I forgot my glasses, so I can't look at the map, it's too small. So, do you have that availability, or do I need to speak to Village? I'd like to, personalize letters to those people to talk to them prior to any of this happening, and I don't know how to contact them.
Yeah.
I have contact information for all of our neighbors.
I mean, even with the noise, I think, around the back corner of this road here, it's really not that far from that corner of that field, so I just be, if you could create some kind of buffer for the noise or, obviously a time limit, I don't know, I think it's a great event for the community. The only other question is, if there is property damage, is the art council liable to repair it?
I believe it goes under the insurance, yes.
Okay, so I'll make sure. Okay, other than that, I'm certainly for it.
Well, 10 o'clock's the latest you're gonna be operating anyways.
Right. That's hard and fast.
Yeah.
With the expectation, the SCA group has built-in marshals to help with the security, with, controlling that part, but as well with working with the police chief so that it is enforced. We do have hard, fast rules in the vendor program so that it's very plain. There, we are here for fun, we are not here to play around, it's,
Now, you're saying tents, so there's gonna be people sleeping overnight out there?
there may be, yes. It will only be those that are entertaining, or they have their craft show there, their items.
So you'll know ahead of time how many people that'll be?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything will be completely controlled in that aspect.
And do you have an expected number of people that would be staying there overnight?
I have not gotten that far in my estimates, so no.
Be a nice number to know. Because I didn't know if anybody could just pull in off the street and say, oh, I'm gonna stay here this weekend, but no, they have
No,
to be.
No, they
pro-
cannot.
Okay.
No, I will know at least 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
If not sooner than that, the specific who, their entire makeup. So if like you're one of the performers, I would have your name, I know that you're there with your wife and your 2 grandchildren. So I'd have complete head count as well as complete contact information.
Now, they're not gonna be pulling in with campers and RVs then?
The only physical, aspects that I'm expecting are going to be tents and vendor stalls. Our gentleman with the turkey legs, obviously he's gonna need electric, so there's gonna be some sort of conveyance generator or, associated with that, but I do not intend to pull in any extra lighting, any extra sound, unless maybe we have, a portable sound system for one or two of the events with singers, but it's going to be all natural, just sun or rain, and, it is what it will end up being. Trying to keep it as fun, but as low-key at the same time.
2,000 people, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, maybe everybody will love it and he'll wanna have it bigger next year.
At that point, Nicole said she had a couple of different other venues that if I wasn't able to do it, the rec department. So yeah, it would definitely be moved. But I think 2,000 is comfortable for that specific area. Again, being the first time we're having this here, being the first time this is being held, this type of event in upstate Vermont, it's, pardon my language, it's a crapshoot. But we know we have a lot of interest and we are hoping for an excellent day.
Yeah, well, if it goes off well, it'll be good for the town too, for Swan.
That's what we're hoping.
Yeah, you got anything on it? Good.
Were you looking for something from the board tonight, or?
We make a motion, okay?
I don't know if there needs to be anything specific, that's my question to you guys. Do you need to make any type of motion? I know the village did.
You probably should vote on it, it's okay,
Yeah.
with the
Anticipating
caveat
the answers
that
that.
we'll be
Yeah.
all working together.
Working together with the questions that we asked.
Do I recuse myself as the director of the rec department?
I don't think you need to. I'll entertain a motion then to allow these folks to have their event on September 10th and 11th at the rec field.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
I want to add some language to it, and it's, we're giving you this approval, basically we were gonna approve the use of that field in your project, but that's contingent upon making sure we get all the insurance issues taken care of.
That's not a problem. Again, I'm going to work very closely with Brian
Yeah.
and Reggie so that I know that all those steps are properly cared for. Because without him, I would not sign my name on it, so I would not ask anybody else to either.
I think what we'll do is have a meeting with, involved in the mowers.
Yeah.
Reg, myself, police chief, fire chief, try to get us all in one room at the same time.
Yeah, so
At least twice, to know what's going on.
Yeah.
I think just the opportunity to bring in hundreds or thousands of people to the community is worth a shot to do it. Just show them what we offer as a community.
Okay.
And Swanton has a lot to offer. I'm still an island honor. I will be Swantonese at some point, but my heart is here, so.
Okay, we got a first and a second. Anything else discussion on it? We're good? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
And
Look
thank you,
forward to
folks.
hearing from you.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank you.
I will keep full contact with Brian, so you'll be.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Okay, Swanton Public Secretary appointment to fill the vacancy P15.
Okay, it's not P15, I don't know what.
16.
Well,
You better write it down.
Something went wrong with the numbering.
That's all right. Okay.
You found it?
15's the first copy, the cover, and then 16's the
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's on 16.
Okay,
It's an email.
got it.
Everybody got it?
Yep.
Alright. So the library's got 2 people that are interested in the empty seat on the board?
Yep, a flood for us.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, that's why.
Alright. Do you wanna let us know, I mean, is the library appointed one of these 2 people, or just made a decision on one of these 2 people?
We did, but we, as, in the past, we've always had to get the okay from you guys.
That's right. Yep. Okay.
And I think I sent Brian all the info and the reasons for,
I'm looking at, yeah, I got an email right here. Okay.
And your recommendation is David Winchester, correct?
yeah.
Is that how I'm interpreting it?
Yes. Alright. I'll start. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, Rebecca, and there's no respect to anybody. I personally cannot appoint Dave Winchester to the Board of Trustees for all the BS that he puts on Facebook. He trashes this board, he trashes the village trustees. How can we appoint somebody like that on a board?
Well, that certainly came up at our meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the way we thought that we could approach it was to, I looked this up from a number of other libraries.
Yeah.
And apparently other libraries put in place a trustee and staff protocol for dealing with social media that says you are now a representative of a town department and you have to conduct yourself accordingly. You cannot be publicly posting negative things about the mission of the library or the town. So presumably, of course we understand the problem. But as I told you, between the two candidates, we had one who's just done a tremendous amount of volunteer work for the library, and one who had absolutely no library experience or involvement at all. So, that's primarily.
And I get you and I appreciate your opinion, but I still can't support it. There's just too much salt in the wound. It's just too much. And I'm only one of 5, so, have at it, you guys. Your thoughts?
Earl, any thoughts? We'll start that in, I guess.
Well, it says you had 2 candidates, so I just gotta ask the question, who was the other one?
Nick Rosso.
Who?
Nick Rosso?
Oh, yes, he ran for office, didn't he?
Yeah. He's on a couple other boards too.
He's on the cemetery commission and trustees.
In the Chamber of
Nick
Commerce.
Historical Society.
Well, I don't really know David, I've heard a lot about him. I don't do social media, so I don't know any of his comments. I'm just saying in general, someone like that, is spending a lot of time, causing commotion and not getting anything done.
Absolutely.
Maybe he's been involved with the library in the past, as you said.
He's done a lot for us. He was, a lead player in getting the pillars replaced. He came in and dug out the elevator pit. He's really done a lot on a volunteer basis.
Well, it's hard to get people in them positions to start with. And I assume whoever we appoint, or whoever we approve, whatever, is only gonna be on there till next town meeting. They'll have to run again.
Right. I mean, we can certainly, put out a plea for, is anybody interested in this position, and try to do another round.
But,
It'd be nice to have 5 people on the board.
yeah, well, sometimes, there might be an unexpired term, like say it's 3 years left on his term that you're appointing him for. But he's not gonna be appointed, whoever we appoint.
No.
They'd only be appointed till town meeting,
That's
then
right.
they'd have to run.
Absolutely.
Okay. I don't know.
Good. Nicole, verbiage on it?
I've thought about this a lot, as I understand everybody's frustration with social media. But Mr. Winchester is looking for ways to be involved in the community, and this could be a way for him to productively be involved in the community. I know as part of the rec department, he's also been very kind to volunteer to do things for us as well. So this could be an opportunity for him to start making more of a positive influence in the community.
Ed, anything to add? I don't see how it could possibly work. I mean, you know, there again, we're all gonna have, I understand, the things that he's done for the library and so on and so forth. But I gotta kinda chime in with you on this one, my personal feelings. I mean, it's day in and day out, his negativity on that Swanton community page. Whether it's the select board or what the village is doing and they're not doing, how do you turn around and put a guy? I'm not in favor of it.
I think for me, I've always said David is a really intelligent guy. I've known him for a long time, and I think he has a lot to offer the community. But the social media posts are scary to me. And so, you know, I was on the meeting the other night when you guys talked about that.
Right.
But since that was something I watched since then, did it stop? Did it go away? It just got worse.
Oh,
So for
I'm
me,
not on it.
I'm
I'm scared of it.
I'm like, here was the opportunity, a chance to make some positive notes, but to come in and take a meeting that we have as a village and just dissect it and put your own spin on it all the time, and the negative in social media, that's scary for me. Would I love to give David the opportunity to be on a board? Absolutely, because I think he does have a lot to offer, especially the library. For me, I don't think he's done enough positive to turn the negative around. He didn't have the continued social media posts that he's having.
That's where I'm coming from too. Mark.
It just hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
And I've asked numerous times through other channels, whether it may through Nicole or other people, hey, talk to David and maybe take that energy and make it positive. Do the positive for the community, not continue negative and pick us boards apart. And just this last week alone with the school chiming in. For me, I just can't at this time. I like David, he's an intelligent guy, but for what he's putting some of the community through, from people from the outside looking in, looking at this, I just couldn't do it. That's just my own personal.
The social media thing is very difficult.
Yep.
Because for anybody that uses it routinely, there's that, especially if you're in some kind of official elected position, it's that really fine line between you as a private person who has opinions and you as a representative of your organization, in which you just can't necessarily say everything you might pop into your head.
As much as we would like to sometimes, but.
It's clear that this has come up with other libraries, because when I researched it, I found a lot of stuff. But even if you put a policy in place, it's, those are still a little mushy, those
Well,
policies.
if you're not on social media, who's going to enforce the policy?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
I'm not willing to go there.
I have to turn it off sometimes because it is overwhelming.
Twitter's getting bought out by Edmund.
So
he wants, and he wants Trump back on, so I imagine, you know, Anthem's gonna go, but I don't do it myself, so I don't see it.
You know what?
Well, what we can do is we can start beating the bushes and seeing if we find other interest.
I mean, the other possibility, again, if it comes up to election time and he wants to go about it that way, if he has enough people to vote for him, I mean, we all have that opportunity. Again, I just, from the last meeting we had, that was the opportunity for me to watch what happened, and I'm like, he just didn't stop. And I as much as I think he has a lot to offer, it's just the timing's not right.
Yeah, and it's certainly really important for the library to have a good working relationship with the select board. So that's.
What I'd like to see come out of this, Rebecca, is if, as a board, we vote not to have David, on you as a trustee, maybe this might get a message to him. For, you know, what, like I said, collaboratively, what he's bashed us time and time and time again. And, you know, it always comes a day of reckoning. Had that not took place, I think as far as, I know as far as I'm concerned, I would look at it differently. And you know, I'm not afraid, I don't hold anything back, people know that about me. I mean, I can't say yes, I want him on board. When I was trying to sell that 4th Street property, he accused me of taking money under the table to put that deal together. So I mean, it's stuff like that, and you guys are aware of it, I told you that.
Yep.
So, how do I in turn, in the best interest of Swan, say, yeah, let's put this guy in as a trustee in the library?
Well, I can see this. Yeah, the thing about social media too is it's like being in your car versus in person. You know, in the car, you'll see people shrinking their face, which they would never, you know, they would never do to you if you were, you know, meeting on the sidewalk.
We need to vote.
Well, I mean, it's pretty clear, best that's gonna happen is 3-2, and we're not gonna appoint them.
So do we vote, make it official? I think we need to
I
vote,
mean, we
make it
can,
official.
but before we do, would you consider the other candidate so that we could appoint somebody?
Oh. I'd rather go back to the drawing board, I
Well,
think.
I mean, that's up to you guys.
I respect that.
I don't have a problem with Nick, but yeah, it's not gonna hurt to put it off for another month and see what else we get.
Yeah.
You
know, I mean, perfectly nice guy, but-
That we said no.
Oh, it's your choice, I just didn't
So I need a
know, you
motion.
know.
Let you know,
Yeah,
we're-
let's-
Official vote.
Yeah, let's give
Or
it,
at least,
let's
you
give
know,
it
we're-
another month.
or at least another, we meet next month as with the library board, so at least let us,
Talk about it.
yeah, I don't wanna make a decision for the whole board right now.
Yeah, it's just 2 of us, so we're not even
I respect
a
that.
vague
Do we need to
majority.
make a motion so it's legit that we're not in favor of appointing?
Well, I think you have to do it the other way, don't you?
What?
I'll make a motion that we approve David Winchester,
I will,
then it'll get voted down.
I will second.
Okay. Alright, any other discussion? We'll do a roll call. Ed,
Nay.
James, nay.
Nay.
Nicole,
Yes.
Earl?
Yes.
Alright, 3-2.
Well, guys, thank you for
All right.
your input.
Thank you, and
We
thank you for
understand.
understanding, and appreciate it. Hopefully
working.
find somebody.
Keep working.
Thank you.
Oh, we're tabling the sidewalk discussion, name change for Robin Hood storm permit?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
And I took a copy of the email in the packet. When we renew the Robin Hood Drive stormwater permit every year, or whenever it needs to be renewed, it's actually the permit to the state of Vermont, but we're taking care of it. And, they'd like to put the permit in our name. We're taking care of it, we're taking.
We've always taken care of that,
Right,
anyways.
and the state just assumed, so that there's no confusion, know that something goes on
It's
with
not
that
their-
permit.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Swanton that has to take care of, that's all it is.
We pay for it every year anyways, so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun.
So we need a motion.
I was gonna say, we need to make a motion, so, I'll entertain a motion to change the name on the stormwater permit to Robin Hood Drive. Is that what we're changing it to?
To the owner of the permit, to town Swan.
Okay, so changing the owner of the permit to the town of Swan for Robin Hood Drive.
I'll make that motion.
Alright, a second?
I second.
Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, ayes have it. Regardless of special town meeting day vote, page 19.
Which, that's the official tally. And I did do the percentage, it's about, we had a turnout of about 7.5%.
How many?
7.5%.
About 7.5%. we've got 4,647 registered voters, and only 349 votes cast.
You just can't get
How
on.
much did it lose by in the village?
I think it was
11.
11.
11 people?
If you do the math, it's been voted on town meeting day on one ballot, it would have passed.
Yeah. I can't believe that little bit showed up.
Alright.
Brian, do you have an extra packet for doing the minutes?
When we're done. Because
You want the numbers? I can read them off.
Sure.
Here, we can just.
You got them?
Yeah.
And I just scribble these on these somewhere, that's okay.
Another one's for P.E.G.
But there is one thing I would like to bring up as long as we're discussing that town meeting day, special meeting vote.
Yep.
Specifically, okay, so now retail can happen in the town.
That's right.
Correct.
Okay, so, you know, when the zoning administrator was here, at our last meeting, she said that, of course, then we have the grant, the planning grant, right? Okay, so somebody from regional planning is supposed to be bringing some language to the planning commission, specific to zoning and cannabis.
Right.
There is a seminar that everyone just signed up for on
May
May 24th. That's gonna go over all the steps.
What they can and
Zoning,
cannot
what they
do.
can do, licensing.
Are they gonna have printouts of that?
I'm sure they'll do a web, I'm sure you'll be able to get a PowerPoint after, but I know that I signed up for it, Brian did, Amy.
Right.
I
We're
just
actually gonna
told-
hold it here so we
Yeah.
can, only one person really needs to sign up for
Right.
it, and then they can have as many people that wants to sit in here. The select board is invited to attend, and you could come if you.
When is
It's
that?
May
May
24th, 10 to
24th.
12.
May 24th?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
10 to
it'd
12.
be Tuesday, May 24th,
10 to 12.
10 to 12.
They come in and we'll watch it on the big screen.
Okay, so I assume you'd be sending that out and then emails, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus you can do
I'll
it
try
on-
to do
you
it,
can
but
it
if
on
not,
your
I'd like to
17th.
get, you know, because it is a very important issue, you know, of how we're gonna handle that from a zoning perspective, because what if these small growers, now the state is definitely wants to, or the Cannabis Control Board anyways, wants to give licenses to small growers. They're holding hard on that, you know, they haven't really allowed any big commercial ones, and they don't want to.
Right.
So, if that's the case, what if somebody wants to grow 50 plants out in their backyard?
No, by law too, unless you're.
And we don't have anything in our zoning that's specific now, there may be areas where that's not appropriate, high density,
Yeah.
housing areas, so, you know, we should get on then the processing part too, where you're gonna put that, you know, I mean, because now it can happen. Everything, before just cultivation and processing, now you can even have
Yeah,
retail.
I'm sure you're gonna be following within the guidelines of what the state's putting out there, but yeah.
Yeah, well, what I had read originally was that, the vote we took is just for retail, okay, the rest of it, the town won't really have much.
Yeah, but you can still have zoning.
You can still have zoning.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna be able to use the agriculture exemption to zoning.
Right.
Correct.
That,
So,
that might help us have it zoned in a more
Yeah.
appropriate
That's
area.
right.
Yeah,
Easier to get
So,
in and out.
yeah, yeah, we can do that.
yeah,
But
but
we
anyways,
are,
Yeah, the rest of
they're
it is
selling
allowed.
anyway.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Is
Yeah.
it gonna happen in the town for sure, or?
What, a
They all-
retail place?
Yeah.
well, we don't know.
We don't know.
Don't have a clue.
It all depends on if somebody wants to do it.
Nobody's put it in there for a permit, no.
I'm just asking, because I didn't know.
The state, the Cannabis Control Board is overwhelmed with permit applications.
They don't know, it's the typical thing that bureaucrats say.
They don't
We
know.
need more people.
That's
It's
exactly
not that
what
they're
want.
overwhelmed.
Right, and that's
They
exactly what
expected
it
this
said.
bad.
They're gonna need another whole department of the state, another office building,
It's
I
true.
can hear it.
Just way to make money, more tax. That's
Yeah.
all I was.
Yeah. Alright, we're all good on that?
Yeah.
Well, let's skip to executive session real quick, and then we can get that done, then we can go back and finish that other stuff.
I move that we find that we enter executive session for the select board to receive confidential contract information for which a premature disclosure to the general public will clear the place of select board and others that it's a substantial disadvantage.
Second.
Alright, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it.
I move that, I just made findings that premature disclosure will place the select board.
Motion, we exit executive session at
Recording in progress.
8:24.
Yep.
Second.
27.
Alright, all in favor,
27, excuse me.
Close enough.
8:27.
all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Now back in our regular meeting. Action taken, none.
No, do we need to make a motion about doing the advertisement or not?
I don't think.
I don't know if we usually do or not.
Yeah, no, I don't think we need
Okay.
to. And just for the camera, we are gonna be advertising for our part-time highway position, summer position, to fill that vacancy, so. That's what we're talking about. Quarterlies. We each should have a separate one for some of the thing.
Alright, so the first set is the general fund.
I gotta find it first.
Win-win.
Yeah,
Oh, is it in there?
No, separate packet.
this is a separate packet.
I thought, oh, maybe it's underneath here. There we
Keep
go.
that down complex maintained, whatever.
That's for the repointing the basement.
Okay, but that wasn't budgeted for, right?
Right,
Right.
but
Okay,
we,
so that's why.
but we use the money out of the, repair non-maintenance fund that we call
Yeah.
it to offset it.
So even with that figured in, you've only done 31% of the budget?
Exactly. Well, actually, we've done 28 and a quarter.
Oh, 28.
Thank you.
So the only thing, everything's pretty much on task, the, selectmen salaries, auditor salaries, there was a slight increase, so that's why they're 5% more.
Get the check for it.
But we're right about where we should be this time of the year, based on how many pay periods we've had. So we're into the end of the first quarter, but we've also paid bills into May.
Yeah.
So the percentage is a little bit higher. And the items that we're over budget on, which are the computer consulting and the town office complex, that was for setting up
Zoom.
Zoom. And then the repointing of the downstairs and the basement.
But the Zoom will get back from ARPA money, right? The Zoom setup.
If you decide to do that when we do it, we can
Okay,
do it.
that's what we're gonna do, yeah.
The
Okay.
Zoom setup, that was ARPA money, wasn't it?
Right, but we
Yeah,
haven't
that's what
taken
they
any
said.
ARPA money
Yeah,
yet.
okay.
So then, let's see, everything else, I haven't done any appropriations out. Economic development, we paid 50% what we committed to. I've done some dispersals to the Missisquoi Valley Rescue, the library, and recreation, which I have a check.
Say, okay.
Now, when I was looking just today, I was thinking, oh, they were supposed to get a check. So that's been taken care of. So we're pretty much on task where we need to be right now.
Okay,
And then highway, James, you wanna take that one?
well, I can try,
Okay.
yeah.
And then I'll just say one thing, the insurance line item, we're at 55%, and that's because we paid the first and second quarter. So we're right where we should be with that too.
We've only spent 16% of our budget, without a reading, all the way down the bottom.
We have spent 17.2, it's on the very last page.
Well, that's perfect, alright.
Yeah, but you
It
ain't,
must be real good.
you ain't paid for any paving yet.
No, we ain't got there, that's the next discussion. Yeah, I don't think anything particular. Have we made our payments out of our equipment rental for our machine?
No,
Yeah.
that it doesn't due until, November 15th.
Okay,
Now, on the library one, that's just what you do here in the office.
Exactly,
Right.
yeah.
all looks good to me.
Now, this is what I'm saying, this would be nice to have from the library too.
What page you want?
Like what their budget looks like
Okay,
there.
comparative, yeah.
Yeah.
I can touch on that next meeting.
What's that?
I can ask,
Yeah.
that ask.
And the last attachment is just our reserve account balances and for the different reserve accounts we have. Economic development reappraisal.
Yeah, I would love to be able to read this, but I don't have glasses.
Oh, don't borrow mine.
It's so small, it doesn't matter how far away I am. I'm giving it up, being a team player.
There you go. I think we're good. Anybody else any questions?
On this here, on
Can you
the,
take a picture on my phone so you can zoom it in?
countdown,
I can read this because it's bold.
are you making money on this?
It's in, yeah, well, it's in our interest, it's in our sweep account, earning interest,
So
yeah.
you are getting a little something.
Yeah, a little something on it.
Should invest in the stock market.
No, boy, here we go.
You could, if it was a-
We're talking budget,
Right.
not stock market. I wanna be out of that talk, hurry up. Alright, anybody got anything else on the, quarterly? Alright. Community,
So I guess it's fair to say to this date and time, there has nothing unusual come up that it would have.
Nothing yet.
That has affected the budget.
Exactly,
We're spending tax dollars wisely, how's
Yeah.
that?
yeah, we go.
exactly.
Okay.
Pinch and pennies. Community economic development is nothing under that tonight, right? Alright, highway department, 2022 grant for BB Road was approved.
It was.
Yay.
Yeah,
Well, that's a real big deal.
yeah.
It's a huge deal.
It is a big deal, but now we gotta wait for legislature to get the money,
To
so,
pass it, yeah,
pass it, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
It was approved through the state.
right,
So,
so they have to wait for the budget to pass,
Yeah.
so.
so I guess the only question I had, was it approved for the whole amount we put in, or?
Yeah.
It was, okay. And that was what, 239,000, we put in for the whole amount, right?
Yeah, it was 200 even.
Have a new
Was it
culvert,
put in?
new road, jeez.
Yeah.
It was whatever we put in.
Yeah, well, that was different though, the color.
Yeah, no, I know, but still.
I'll look it up.
and this,
That's right.
this is strictly for paving, right?
Yeah.
That's just for
Strictly
paving the
paving
BB
the
road,
road.
the money you put
Yeah.
towards, yeah.
James, if we can back up just a minute here on
Yeah.
the highway department. Are we still holding money back on that new truck?
On the box, yes.
Oh, yes, I don't know if I shared it with the rest of you, so we had a discussion last week with the company. And we paid everything but $10,000 of the bill, we held back 10,000. And until the body, new body's put on the truck.
Were we
I
able to?
talked to one of the chief Indians down there at the company and he said, whatever you feel, we'll go with, so. I said, well, I think 10,000 is a big enough bite in the pie that you'll listen to us, so.
But what were we able to negotiate anything on that bill?
You're talking
Because
money
they,
off, you mean?
because they held us up so long?
I didn't even discuss that with him, you know.
But that's part of that.
I didn't have that discussion with them about, because they held us up so long. I just had a discussion that they owe us a body for that truck still. That was my whole thought behind the holding back $10,000.
We're holding back 10 grand, so when the time comes, we're.
When the time comes, we get our body, we get everything settled, then we'll pay.
Oh, you're a smart man.
Not no dummy, so, yeah.
Wow.
Bought a few things in a day. Yeah,
Well, before we move on to, there was one thing that we didn't talk about yet. 4th Street, cause it's got something to do with highway.
We got it right here.
Okay, yeah.
okay.
You wanna do that now, or?
Let's finish one
Okay.
thing here. Where were we at? So we got the BB Road thing. Where did we put 4th Street down? Oh, okay, just from above, sorry.
Yeah, with
Go ahead,
that.
go ahead. Yep.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Atlas Engineering, which is the company that is the successor of the engineers that did this 15
Yeah.
years ago.
I did that.
Did finally come through with a quote and the work to be done. And this is just to do the assessment and figure out what's what.
This is a lot of paper.
There's a lot of paper to say that they'll do
Yeah, well, we're
work.
talking about environmental people, that's why.
And we're talking, their price is $1,800 to do that initial assessment.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty
That's not
reasonable.
bad.
So my
Oh, they're
question,
not actually cleaning it up.
No,
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 this
they
is-
do the assessment.
test.
Oh, just.
They have to reassess it.
And then,
So-
now let me, I gotta ask this question to these damn things, because they seem to keep no end to this. When they get done doing that.
Yeah.
Will will know what we need to do.
That's right.
Okay, okay.
That's right.
Right,
Good.
because the laws change over the course of time, and so, and that's what she's trying to say in all these paragraphs. And, so anyways, I would, I think $1,800 is a fair price.
That's very fair when you're talking
And,
engineers.
so
It
I.
says will not exceed.
Well, we budgeted for Fourth Street,
Yeah.
we have money in
We
it.
got money.
Yeah.
So I would.
I'll entertain a motion to approve this, Atlas company to do the, study over there for the amount of $1,800 even.
I'll make that sheet.
And authorize Brian to sign the
I'll
contract.
make that motion.
I second it.
Okay.
Alright, any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it.
And
Good.
they say they can start it
work
immediately,
yeah.
and the report will be within 30 days.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
pretty good.
So
That's
that
good.
way we'll know what's going on.
That would
Okay,
be great, cause I would totally use some space.
alright, was there something else we had on,
Yes, under D.
yeah, what was D supposed to be?
Police contract, but we did that
We
with.
did it. Please.
Okay,
Sullivan
police
already.
And
contract.
the only other thing, Brian, was the E for the, put it on the next agenda for the ATV.
ATV, yeah, okay.
Is that something we wanna talk about tonight, James, or?
I would probably wait.
just gonna-
Yeah.
On the agenda.
Other than I would like Brian to do a little homework on it for us before the next meeting to see what maybe other towns are doing. So we know something about it, if we're gonna have people from public talk about it next meeting.
I have some information as far as ATVs and recreational use in New England that I can share with you.
I should probably check with some of the towns that already do it.
Yeah, that's what I was
I'm
thinking.
thinking, some of the local towns,
There's certainly class roads they do
Like
know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Berkshire and Bakersfield.
like 8 does it too, doesn't it?
I8, Sheldon, they all do it now.
Newport just
Newport
passed.
just opened it back up again.
It, so I'll get the information together.
And I'd be curious what the other towns allow for ATVs, what their verbiage is. You know, if it's just for side by sides or four wheelers or what they do.
They 400 horsepower.
Pretty close, yeah. Yeah,
They, yeah, so I'll get that stuff together.
okay.
Yeah.
Alright, we're all good there then.
Newer big ones are bigger than my car.
We get to the,
We're back to highway.
okay, risers.
Yeah, well, it'll be the risers for wheel around paving.
How much?
So, wheel around is on our paving schedule this
Yeah,
year.
but the right, how much are the risers?
Well, I got 2 quotes.
Yeah, but let me back up a second. So the town is only obligated to maintain the road as far as paving it and plowing it.
Yeah.
The sewer system has nothing to do with the town. The residents of Wheeler Round technically own that sewer system. It's the village maintains that sewer system for them. The village collects the water and sewer payments over there for using it. So my concern is why the town shouldn't really be responsible for those risers that we need to pave the road. It's really up to the residents.
Well, how much money are we talking?
Okay, we got one quote here, Kevin got, actually the village got it from,
Prescott.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, that's for $2,649.
Mayo.
This would
And
be
you're
for,
seven.
there was, we started with 7, the contractor, that's doing the state job busted one, so they're gonna replace 1, so actually they're gonna do 6.
Yeah.
This does not include, the village has in stock two concrete risers that are part of the structure. They have those in stock, so they're gonna, I don't know what they're gonna charge for those, if anything. Then David Leclerc lives up there. David and Mel Leclerc live up there. David works for FW Webb.
Yep.
And he got a quote. He spoke to Dean and whatever, at the village, and whatever Dean needs, he can get it for $1,700. So, you either got 1,700 or 2,700. But, I'm gonna take these numbers and I'm gonna call and sit down with Reggie and say, what are we gonna do here?
Yeah.
Because
That doesn't include labor, that's just.
Yeah, and that's not
well,
labor.
labor,
The village
the
will change it.
village will take care of the labor, but it's a very quick, it doesn't take long to change it.
Yeah, I like it.
That's all I've been told.
Hammer out the asphalt, everything around it, change it, but.
Well, can the village have concrete ones, will concrete ones adapt to them too?
Yeah.
No, there's
Well,
steel risers that
steel.
put on there for the manhole, the same. Raise them up.
And the other thing too, they're different size, presently they're different sizes. They got some 26 inches and some that are smaller, maybe So Dean wants, the village wants them all standard 26 inches, so that's why they also, it's costing a little bit more. I don't blame the village for wanting standard size, but nonetheless, we don't own the sewer system, the village doesn't own it, it is the.
Yeah, now,
Homeowners.
if they're different, if they're smaller, how can you put a bigger one just gonna have it?
Well, that's where it gets a little bit more expensive, where they have to really,
I don't know.
that's probably where the
Well, I think
complication,
we're
I don't know, if that's, they have to do further
Oh, okay,
modification.
so yeah, if they got one that's small, maybe they can put a concrete one up through it, yeah. That makes sense.
And, so, we know that the street definitely needs to be resurfaced, there's no question.
Oh, yeah, these are paid.
So,
So what
there
you're
is-
recommending is that the town take responsibility for the risers?
no, I'm
No,
not,
I'm not
I'm not,
recommending that.
at this
I'm not
time, no.
Okay.
No, no, I'm just gonna go and sit with Reggie and say, we've got this issue here.
So, right, see what,
And,
See where it goes.
you know, they're collecting,
Well,
they're
I
getting a sewer bill
yeah,
every
well-
month for one of those houses.
But I mean, when the town took the road over years ago, it was in an understanding that we maintained the road, not the sewer system.
Now, there is a homeowners association that has a few dollars, but probably not that much. And, to take care of some maintenance or repairs, but
I mean, if the homeowners do it, then we can't say where they're coming from, I guess, they could argue it out with the village, cause the village has the water and the
that's
sewer.
right, that's right.
But the town would be out of it.
Right, as long as they're put in time for us to get
Yeah.
paid.
yeah, I'd see what you can work out.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just been bringing up to date, and then we're gonna have this discussion in the next few days that,
So by the next meeting, you ought to have some idea of what's going on,
I hope so.
if you don't get COVID.
I'm not planning on that, I'll know probably by the next meeting when my surgery will be, but that's another issue.
Alright,
But that's,
so, I wanna touch on paving.
yeah,
So, you guys saw this a while back, that we got a rough estimate of what it's gonna cost to pave our roads, which is almost shy of $700,000.
What's that now? I know.
I haven't even asked, this was 2
No,
months
I-
ago,
That's
so
what I
I
thought
don't
you
even
were
wanna
going.
know.
yeah, I'm trying to prepare.
The problem is we got 325,000 in our paving budget, we got 200,000 to add from the state, so that's $525,000 we got out of $700,000.
200,000 short.
We can't pave all the roads. So we know BB Road's gonna be paved, we know Wheeler Round's gonna get paved. Bushy Road's one of our highest travel roads we got in the town, so it's pretty obvious that one's gonna have to be paved. So you got 239,000, I ain't got a calculator. So 239, you got overage from that for BB Road, plus 50,000.
Now what you're doing on the Bushy Road?
Paving, just a second. Paving half a mile from the north end of the trailer park to the end of the road, roughly, right in that area.
So from the trailer park to 207,
Oh yeah, yeah, it's almost
I know.
100, that's
so from the trailer park to
to the end of the Bushy Road, to the St. Albans end.
Woods Hill. Or
No,
St.
other way,
Albans.
other way, yeah, it's only half a mile.
207.
Yeah, I wanted to pave from the VN's road down, which is probably over a mile, but we just don't have the funds and I'll have to wait till another year. So where I was at, what'd you say? Oh, I thought you said something was that, so 239.50 and that portion Bushy Road was 88,970. Yeah, 378,000. So that's paving those three.
What was the
And
other one?
then the county road was the other one on there, which was 111.
Yeah, that's got some bad spots.
Yeah, County Road was certainly in need.
That's
And
another
again,
high travel.
slows traffic down.
That's true too.
That's 489,000. Just five.
What was it?
You might as well call it $500,000.
Was there another one on there?
There is another one on the Campbell's Bay Road's on there, but it's $200,000. $205,000.
Or a Valdez Road on there?
I wouldn't pave it.
Okay, Earl.
What kind of shape is it? Is it?
It needs to be paved. It's not in the greatest shape.
Go around the other way.
It doesn't have the bottom, well, it does right now, but,
Yeah.
Spring is bad too. I know that.
you know, there's probably could be paid, but we don't have the money to do it. What are you gonna do?
No, I
mean,
know,
We don't
and
pave.
that's what I'm saying, is because we need to get these roads out to bid, what we're gonna pave.
Whatever we leave off, but that's a priority.
I mean, if you got some left, maybe they can do a stretch, maybe, you know, Kevin probably, I mean, to
Yeah.
me, it's not that
Because he's
bad.
got-
That road hasn't been paved for a long, long time.
Yeah.
It's not that
And-
bad.
Actually,
You drive on
I
78
was
to
wrong
get
when I said
there.
half a mile, it's not half a
It's
mile.
a gold compared to 78.
That's something that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't actually have the mileage, but
And so Campbell Bay Road would be the only road that we would lose?
if we did that configuration, yeah, 205,000, but we've got a little more, I mean, maybe we could pave some of it, just not.
Yeah, and maybe you could shorten up a couple of the other ones so that, you know, you made somewhat of a dent this
Yeah.
year, and then, you know, that's the way you're just gonna have to do things.
Do you live on Campbell's Bay Road?
What?
Do you live on Campbell's Bay?
Yeah.
You
Bad
can,
thing.
you can wait another year.
Yeah.
What's that?
You can wait another year.
Oh, hell yeah. I already have told, the first thing I told, Raymond,
You're gonna get that road paved, is that what you said?
no, Terry Hakey. They came over and they wanted to fix a hole that was causing flooding on the road, and I said, you cannot work here on a selectman's property. I said, never work on a selectman's property, and never pave their road.
There you go.
And he said, I'm doing it because it's gonna, it was a dangerous thing. So I said, get there. And sure as, just as I'm sitting here, 2 weeks later I heard about it.
Yeah.
Well, if I was on the select board, I'd get this done.
Somebody threw that in your face?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh,
Well, alright, so I'll work with Kevin to see if we can come up with maybe some of that get paved or whatever, we come up with it. the one we got left.
Well, let me know so I can
Yeah.
send out.
I will, I'll talk to him in the morning so we can get that.
Yeah, but when you send the bid out, you're gonna send everything out, or you've
Well,
already got them back?
no.
All this was is a rough estimate they give us to work with, now we'll put it out to bid. But the problem is we have to be careful, when we send this out to bid, we need to be sure this is what we're gonna do, because we ran into that last year, because we put on the bid, BB Road, we didn't get the money. So then they played the game, well, we bidded on the whole job, not part of the job, so.
Well, why don't you put that in there, they could be 200,000 less.
Yeah. No, well, yeah, we can do that, we can put
Yeah, I
something
mean,
else
what
in
the
there.
hell, they got you over the barrel, there's only 2 or 3 of them, isn't there?
Yeah, there's only a couple of them.
The price of stuff going up,
The price of oil just keeps going up, I'm scared to see what's gonna come in out of it, so.
you may not have a chance to do
Yeah, so, that's what we'll do then, so. I don't have anything else for highway, I can't think off the top of my head. You guys are doing an awesome job picking the roadsides up.
What was the addition of C pavers on the agenda for,
What's that?
you guys added C pavers to the agenda? at the beginning of
Paving,
the-
that was this conversation.
Oh, okay.
Well, I would like to make one comment on that, on our roadside that I noticed, cause I had to drive up to Swanton a couple times in a tractor. Our town roads are a lot cleaner than the state roads.
They're gaining the state, they are working on it, done.
Yeah, but I mean, people throw
Oh, yeah.
more stuff out on state roads than they do on town roads.
I don't know, we get an awful lot of trash on our roads too.
Yeah, but you should have seen that.
Oh, I've seen them, they really quite a bit.
Drive down Frontage Road.
Yeah,
Well,
no, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's it.
They do?
Alright, anything else for highway?
Again, I just can't thank you guys enough for being a part of Big Rig Day. It was great to see all the support that we got,
Good.
and the truck
Nice
looked
shiny new
Look-
truck looked
looked
good up there too,
beautiful.
didn't it? Yeah. We
And
did right it
Brendan's
up, so,
a great addition to the team.
good,
And you still plan on putting that in the Memorial Day parade, right?
we will, yeah.
And the other thing is, Green Up Day is this Saturday, May
Saturday.
7th.
Okay, is it on
And
here?
then- No, but I was
Okay.
just thinking of, because there's still bags to be picked up, we've had a lot of people pick up on their roads already, pick up bags here. but just to let everybody know that Kevin, the highway department's gonna have a truck at the village, and they're also taking the pickup truck so that they can put tires and stuff in the pickup truck,
Yeah, the small
instead of
one.
having to sort it after August on big trucks, so
Yeah.
just so there is gonna be, that's gonna be at the village complex.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Okay,
Okay, any unnecessary business?
I take care of my own.
We had correspondence.
Me too.
Yeah, correspondence. We got an email from our rep.
We got an email from the rep, you know, at the last meeting,
Before you leave, I got
you wanted me to ask him, what, if there was any extra money coming out of the highway transportation budget. And I knew what the answer would be, but I was
Absolutely.
anyway. And the answer is that, there might be an increase in the, but, there has been an increase in aid to the towns in this budget that hasn't been approved yet or finalized, but there's no special appropriation and grants that are not in the white book.
Yeah.
So if it's not in the white book, which is the budget.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing in the pipeline to fund that. That
Well,
one
I guess
point
that question-
5 billion or 1.9 billion, that's all gonna go to state highways.
Well, either that, or maybe we got it when we got our paving grant for BB Road.
We may have, who knows, you know?
Yeah.
So there's that. That broke Representative Walker in a little bit.
There you go.
For the moment.
Yeah.
And, I did have one other piece of, correspondence received from the, Swanton beautification question from the Swanton, the head of the Swanton Beautification Committee, who's Sarah Foisey. She was looking, first of all, about, you know, the bridge down here, how they put the flower boxes on it. And she was wondering what, if they could put it on the bridge, on John's Bridge. And I read off, well, that's a state highway bridge, we have no control over that. And then, they were gonna be putting flowers, they'd like to put flowers on the library property, which is technically town property. And if they put flowers on the boxes on the bridge, well, that's out of the question. But would the town be willing to help with watering? We're a committee of volunteers, so they're looking for the town highway crew to go water. I would refer it to the library staff. They could
We don't
do
have time to
that,
water
or we don't
flowers.
have time, especially.
If it's on the library, I think it's easy enough for them.
It'd be easy enough for the library staff to go out. And I certainly, you know, we aren't gonna have, even if the state let them put flowers on the bridge, we don't want our people on a state
No.
structure.
No, maybe they can come up with something.
And it's
else.
one thing down there, they have a sidewalk to walk on.
Yeah,
They're
right.
flying.
Yeah.
They're fine, you know, and,
I understand their purpose and
I will-
their thought, but.
I already told her that the flowers on the bridge, you know, good idea, but it's not our bridge, it belongs to the state of Vermont.
Well, this beautification committee, maybe they could do something in the backyard.
Here?
Yeah.
I think they're doing it in areas where they could, but I think they're doing more in areas where it's visible.
They want it more visible for
They want
people
more visible.
coming in there.
The,
Our flowers need blossom.
the guys came down and cleaned it up last week. They did
Yeah.
that.
They're gonna seed it.
Yeah, but I mean.
First thing I noticed when I came back to work,
Yeah.
and they finished up.
Alright.
Well, that's
Anything
all.
else for correspondence?
That's all I got.
Public comment? Any other public comment?
Nothing here.
No, I was gonna say something, I can't remember what it was now. Guess it wasn't that important.
Would have been important.
No, it couldn't have been. Upcoming events, regular select board meeting, May 17th at 7 PM here at the town office, 1 Academy Street. Planning Commission the next Wednesday, May 25th at 6 PM here at the town offices, 1 Academy Street. DRB is Thursday, May 26th, 6 PM, town offices, 1 Academy Street. Memorial Day, 5:30, town office operation will be closed. The annual parade will be held at 2:30. And then just green up day that Kathy just talked about was
And
this
there's-
Saturday.
There's 2 planning commission meetings,
Oh, there's 2 planning
Now,
commission meetings.
planning commission meeting.
the 18th and the 25th.
18th, and okay, so
Same
back,
time.
Same time,
Yeah.
same place.
alright,
And the town office, the clerk's office is gonna be closed
Oh, yes, that's right, May 20th.
May 20th.
yeah,
We have a seminar to go to and,
Yeah, they're gonna learn how to use the new voting machine.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Thank you
Town,
for reminding
town
me
clerk's
that.
portion of the office will be closed on the 20th.
Yes.
Yeah.
but the rest of us will be here slaving away.
Getting,
Okay.
I doubt it. I don't know.
Flags in the park,
Yeah, I'm gonna get.
it's not on here, but
Are those one up for Memorial Day?
for
Yeah.
Memorial Day, yep, it'll be,
28th.
what day is Memorial Day, on the 30th?
30th.
Yeah.
So.
So we'll put them up on the 28th and take them down on the,
Whatever.
whatever day, the
Saturday,
4th.
Saturday.
Yeah.
You don't put them up on the 27th?
28.
Saturday.
20, did you
Saturday,
help doing-
Oh, yeah, 28th I meant, sorry, yeah, Saturday we get more help.
You need help doing that?
Yeah, always.
What time does that start?
It's usually
9
Saturday and
o'clock.
Saturday.
On that 28th,
So
we're gonna meet here
Memorial
at
Day
town
being on
office, bring
Monday.
flags
I
out.
gotta
Are you
get
gonna put them up
the
this
cards.
No, we put them up this, the 28th.
So
Take
they're
us
only
down
gonna
the
be up 4 days?
No.
they're up till.
No, we're not gonna take it down till June,
To here.
There you go.
whatever that is.
Saturday, Saturday.
4th, ain't it?
6/4.
June
Yeah.
4th. And I found the cards on the computer.
Oh, you did?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta look, see if I can
Everyone
find
else
them.
should be here.
Alright, getting close to the end, but I
Oh,
want,
in here, thanks.
I came here with the intent, I'm glad I didn't forget this, the damn sign ain't working.
No, it
We
isn't.
just talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
When?
You weren't listening.
Well, it was a brief conversation.
You weren't
that-
here.
Before the machine.
We might have to
Before
call
the
it-
meeting started, okay, well,
We
the
may
public
have
would
to-
like to know.
They're gonna try one more thing, but they might have to call the repair company out of
Yeah,
Schenectady, New York, so
Yeah.
we're gonna see how much that's gonna cost
Yeah.
before we have them come up here.
Well, how much does a new sign cost?
Well, that one was
think
about
it's-
10,000-15,000,
Yeah.
so.
So it's,
Yeah, and unfortunately, I
Well,
wanted
what's
to send
taking
out
them so
December
long to get something done?
What's that?
fifth. Our warrants ran out on December 1st.
Oh, of course it did, yeah.
and you get their voicemail that says,
Well,
we're busy, we'll call you back, and then you have to them after them.
Yeah.
And they never call back.
And then you could, yeah, about 3 or 4 days later, or they call when we're closed, when I'm gone, they call. And then, so I got mad and I emailed them, and the guy was mad at me, well, you're not supposed to do it this way, you're supposed to call. I said, well, nobody answers. So, but no, this endeavor, because they're
so
saying,
when are they coming?
oh, I don't know yet, I wanna find out how much they're gonna cost to get them here.
Oh, wait, I get it there.
So that you already know you have to get the.
More than likely.
Schenectady, New York.
Syracuse,
Oh, Syracuse.
or Boston, wherever they might come from.
Yeah.
But I wanna talk to Dwayne at the village one more time and go out there with him and see, cause he says the thing is riveted on and the people out there said, no, he doesn't know, no, it isn't, it's not.
Well,
riveted
you know, I could go out and tell you that.
Yeah.
That's not that
Drill-
complicated.
Drill the rivets out for you if you need me to, that's not that big a deal.
So, so that's, yeah, it's been a frustration.
Yeah, no, we need to get that fixed, but. Alright, I think we're good.
I make a
Motion
motion
to
to
adjourn.
adjourn at 8:59 PM.
Yeah.
Second.
Second on that, any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it.
Brian,